They feared me long before they understood me, hated me long before they asked why I chose the shadows, and called me villain before they ever heard the weight in my silence. But I never expected anything else from this world. I was not born to be understood. I was not built for their applause or their forgiveness. I was forged in silence, broken in light, reborn in fire. What they call vengeance, I call balance. What they call brutality, I call sacred discipline. I don't wear a mask to hide. I wear it because my face no longer matters. My name died the day I gave it away to protect someone else. What's left is not a man who needs saving. It is a ghost made of justice, rage, and divine resolve. I am not cruel. I am precise. I do not seek pity. I burn it. They think I want to be loved, that I act out of pain. But I do not move because I'm hurt. I move because I remember. Every injustice, every lie, every innocent soul broken beneath systems that were supposed to protect them, I etched it all into my bones. This world taught me one lesson. Mercy without truth is a cage, and I refuse to let it chain me. I've seen evil laugh in courtrooms, shake hands in churches, smile on stages while hiding corpses behind their curtains. I tried once to play their game, to walk gently, to believe in redemption, to speak the language of peace. But peace is not given. It is earned. And where peace is mocked, war must rise. I did not choose to fight. The silence of the innocent begged me to. And when I looked for heroes, I saw none. So I became something else, something they cannot buy, cannot bend, cannot stop. I am not just a man. I am consequence. I am the bloodline of warriors forgotten, the echo of prophets ignored, the wrath of the voiceless passed through fire and sharpened by loss. I do not carry a sword to threaten. I carry it to finish what cowardice won't. I've bled for people who would never bleed for me. I've stood between devils and children. I've buried the parts of myself that longed for rest. And still, I do not stop. Not because I enjoy the war, but because I know someone must walk into the fire so others can sleep in peace. They see scars and call me savage, but they never ask who carved them. I have loved and lost, forgiven and been betrayed, held the hands of dying friends who believed their names would be remembered, only to see their stories rewritten by the same cowards who sold their lives. I made a vow in the darkness. I will be their memory. I will be their justice. I will be the roar they never got to scream. And if that makes me a villain, so be it. I am not here to be liked. I am here to finish what weak men fear to begin. I've killed, yes. I've done what others wouldn't. Because I believe evil does not deserve comfort, and monsters deserve no second chances. And yet I do not kill for pleasure. I kill to protect. And every time I do, a piece of my soul dies with them. But I carry that weight, willingly, because God sees, even when no one else does. They call me godless, because I don't kneel in temples. But I kneel in alleys beside the broken. I pray in the silence between each breath. My altar is the ground where blood has dried. My faith is not in men, it is in what I was born to do. There is holiness in action. There is sacred fire in judgment, and I walk with God not above me, but within me. I hear His voice in my rage. I feel His hand when I strike. I see His light not in the sky, but in the faces of those I've saved from hell. I have no family, no home, no lover who waits in the window. My only companion is the sound of boots in darkness, the memory of promises kept, and the ghosts of those I couldn't save. They walk with me. They speak in the wind. And though the world forgets them, I never will. That is my sacrifice, not death, but endless remembrance. I do not age the same way others do. My youth was stolen by violence, my manhood shaped by betrayal, and my future? I gave it away so others could have one. I do not smile often, but when I do, it is not joy, it is prophecy. It is the calm before I shatter another illusion, before I burn another lie. They want me gone, buried, erased. But I will not go quietly. If I must vanish, it will be with fire in my footprints and fear in their bones, because I never needed their acceptance, only their reckoning. I am not tired, I am focused. I am not lonely, I am chosen. I do not want sympathy, I want truth, and I will rip it from their tongues if I must. For the weak, who never had a voice. For the good who were called fools. For the warriors who died unseen. I do this for them, and for the child I once was, the one who cried out in the dark and heard no answer. Now I am the answer. I am not a hero. I am not a savior. I am what comes when all the saints fall asleep and justice forgets its name. I am not the end. I am the sword between endings and beginnings. I am the roar that wakes the world when silence becomes too loud. And when I die, they may curse me still. They may call me mad, ruthless, unholy. But God will know, and that's all that matters. God will know what I carried, what I buried, what I gave, what I became, not for power, not for glory, but for the justice the world forgot. I will not rest. I will not break. I will not need your love. I walk alone, but I am never alone. Because the fire walks with me. Because the fire walks with me. It doesn't warm. It reminds. It whispers every name that was lost beneath justice delayed, every plea ignored, every soul shattered behind curtains of policy and prayer. I walk with those names carved into me, not as burden, but as oath. I carry them into rooms of power, into alleys where evil hides, into boardrooms that smell of blood and perfume, into sanctuaries where guilt dresses in gold. And when I speak for them. My voice may tremble from pain, but never from fear. I do not fear death. I've died already. I do not fear pain. It is the price of purpose. What I fear is silence, the kind that lets monsters live and angels rot. That silence has a face. It looks like apathy. It wears expensive clothes. It prays in public and sins in private. I've ripped it from its throne more times than I can count, and still it returns. Because evil does not sleep. It evolves. It waits for men like me to grow tired. But I do not tire. I remember. I remember the night I was left in the rain, forgotten by those who promised protection. I remember the first time I struck back and realized no one is coming. I remember the moment I stopped asking why me and started asking what now. That was the day I became something else. Not a victim, not even a survivor. I became consequence. I became storm. I became the line between it happened again and not on my watch. Let them call me extremist. It is only extreme to stand when others bow. I bow to nothing but truth. My blood is not noble. My birth was not holy, but my resolve, that came from God, not the one in stained glass, the one in fire and silence, in justice and night, the God who does not beg men to be good, but dares them to choose. I chose, and I keep choosing, every day, when my hands shake, when my soul pleads for rest, when loneliness howls like wolves in my chest. I keep choosing war, not because I love it, but because peace is a lie if it is built on fear. I don't protect peace. I forge it, with fire and will and pain. I've watched good men hesitate, afraid to lose favor, afraid to lose followers. I've watched cowards rise to power because their tongues were silver and their hearts were dead. I've seen devils wear halos and fools worship them. I tear them down, one by one, silently. I don't need crowds. I don't need witnesses. I only need the echo of what is right. And when I strike, it is clean. No cruelty, only justice. I don't linger. I move on. Another city, another war, another lie to expose, and though I walk alone, I am never empty. The silence inside me holds a cathedral, built not of stone, but of scars, memories, vows. Every scar is a stained glass window, every memory a sermon, every vow a flame. I don't preach, I burn. I don't ask men to change. I show them what happens if they don't. And if they come for me, let them. I have no family to threaten, no fortune to steal, no reputation to ruin. I am the end of reputations. I am what they fear when their lies crack at the edges. And when they lie awake, choking on guilt, it is my name they whisper in the dark. Not out of hatred, but hope. Because deep down, even they know the world needs something like me. Not nice, not clean, not pure, but true. You see, I do not wear black to mourn. I wear it because darkness is honest. It does not pretend. I walk through it like a king because it knows me. It raised me. It taught me how to see when others were blind. And it taught me something no light ever could, that sometimes the one who walks through hell isn't lost. He's leading. I don't want their praise. I don't want redemption. I gave up the right to be saved when I chose to save others first. That's the cost. Every man who walks this path must bury something. His name, his peace, his future. I buried all three, with my own hands, and I never looked back. I don't seek revenge. I seek restoration. But sometimes the only way to heal the world is to break what broke it. That's the paradox they'll never understand. That love, real love, sometimes bleeds. It rages. It protects even when it burns itself to ash. That is what I am. A love so furious it frightens the world into change. A force so loyal it terrifies the wicked. They'll never make a statue for me. No child will sing my name. But somewhere, someday, someone will wake up safe because I made sure a monster couldn't touch them. That's enough. That's all I need. I don't need to be remembered. I just need evil to be afraid. I just need darkness to know. It is not alone. There is one who watches, one who judges, one who does not blink when the world turns away. I'm not perfect, but I'm necessary. My path is not pure, but it is righteous. And if I must walk it alone until my bones turn to dust and the stars forget my name, I will. Because God knows. And in the end, His whisper is louder than the world's scream. His whisper is louder than the world's scream. And when all else fades, when kingdoms fall and names are forgotten, it is not the statues that remain. It is the choices. It is the weight behind the silence. I do not exist for applause. I exist because too many did nothing. I exist because when evil entered through the front door, most turned their backs and whispered prayers instead of lifting swords. I was not gifted this strength. I earned it through failure, loss, betrayal, and the fire of consequence. I trained my hands to become weapons when no one offered help. I built my mind into steel because comfort breeds weakness. And I buried softness beneath layers of war because sentiment alone cannot stop a blade. I have been hunted by those I once saved. I have been spat upon by the mouths I protected. But I never turned back, because I did not do it for them. I did it for what they will never see. The unseen child who lived. The daughter who never felt her abuser's hand. The stranger who never knew how close death came. Because I stood in its way. And if my reward is exile, if my reward is eternal solitude, I accept it. I embrace it. Because peace for others is worth war within myself. I've knelt in graveyards with fists full of dirt and screamed into the sky, asking why the good are taken while evil is crowned. And the only answer I ever received was silence. But within that silence, I felt it. Resolve. The kind not gifted by comfort, but forged in pain. The kind that says get up anyway. The kind that says carry them with you. And so I did. I carry them all. Every fallen friend, every innocent lost, every name the world forgot. I keep them alive not in song, but in action. My fists are their memory, my scars are their voice, and with every enemy I bring to their knees, I remind the world, their blood was not in vain. I am not gentle, I am not merciful to the wicked, but I am just. I have stared monsters in the eyes and felt nothing, because I know what true evil looks like. And it is not always loud. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it wears a badge. Sometimes it speaks softly and lets others do its dirty work. That is why I never sleep too long. That is why I never settle. Because evil adapts. And so must I. There are days when I want to rest. Days when the weight of what I carry nearly breaks me. When I look in the mirror and no longer see a man, only a ghost held together by anger and duty. But even then, I rise. Not because I want to, but because I must. Because the war never ends. And because the light, though distant, is watching. I feel it. I speak to it. Not with words, but with action. And in those moments, when I'm bloodied and breathless, when the world is quiet and my hands are stained, I feel closer to the divine than I ever did in temples. Because I know I'm not alone. I know someone sees. And that is enough. That has always been enough. I do not wear armor to look powerful. I wear it because I've been torn open too many times to walk bare again. I don't trust easily. I don't laugh freely. But when I do trust, it is unbreakable. When I do protect, it is to the death. I have loved, yes. But love for me is not roses and calm. It is fire and sacrifice. It is giving everything and expecting nothing. And when they left, all of them, friends, family, lovers, I did not break. I did not beg. I turned deeper, inward, into the flame, into the calling. Because I realized I do not need anyone to carry me. I am the one who carries. And when no one shows up, I still fight. When no one believes, I still move. When no one prays, I still protect. Because I am not driven by recognition. I am driven by truth. A truth etched deeper than any betrayal. A truth louder than any lie. A truth that says, this world may never thank you, but it will feel you. It will remember the fear in evil's eyes when you stood tall. It will remember the shift in the wind when justice arrived in silence. And even if they never know your name, they will sleep under the peace you built from ruin. That is legacy. That is divine. I do not know what waits for me beyond this life. But if there is judgment, let it come. Let them read my sins aloud. I will not flinch. I will not weep. Because I know what I did. And I did it so others wouldn't have to. If I am punished for that, so be it. But if God sees truth, then he knows I did what needed to be done. Not for glory, not for revenge, but for balance, for the voiceless, for the forgotten, for the child I used to be. And in that final moment, if I am asked, were you good? I will say, no. I was necessary. And if the gates close, I'll walk on. Because heaven is not where I belong. I belong where the fight still lives, where the fire still burns, where the wolves still hunt. I am not done. I will never be done. I am the last vow, the final blade, the silent judge. And until my last breath, I will walk alone, feared by the wicked, unseen by the world, carried by justice, and anointed by fire.